नमस्कार, अस्सलाम वालेकुम, सत श्री अकाल और राम राम। मैं हूँ आपके होस्ट जोशी रेड्डी और आप सभी के स्वागत है हमारे प्रोग्राम में। आप देख रहे हैं फीजी इन फोकस अपने होस्ट जोशी के साथ। हम इस प्रोग्राम को ला रहे हैं फ्रॉम ट्रेडिशनल unceded territories of Kwantlen, Silvertooth, Katzie or Squamish nations. Mark your calendars from May the 6th to the 13th for Heart Failure Awareness Week. Key signs to watch for include shortness of breath, foot swelling, persistent fatigue, difficulty lying flat, and chronic coughing. What actions matter most? Prioritizing diabetes management, incorporate exercise to tackle the obesity, keep tabs on high blood pressure, address any concerns related to coronary artery disease. Don't hesitate to discuss these matters with your doctor for personalized support. Mark your calendars for May the 14th. The Indo-Fijian Cultural Society of Canada invites you to celebrate Girmithia Day at the City Centre Library, located on the 4th floor at 10350 University Drive in Surrey. Join us at 5:30 p.m. for an evening filled with cultural festivities. Dinner will be served, but hurry, seating is limited to 60 seats only. Reserve your seat now for this free event and immerse yourself in the vibrant heritage of Fiji. Please don't miss out. Mother's Day is a time to honor the remarkable women who fill our lives with unconditional love and boundless strength. From their gentle guidance to their unwavering support, mothers shape us into the people we are today. Their warmth and compassion light up even the darkest of days, reminding us that we are cherished beyond measure. Today and every day, we celebrate these extraordinary individuals who have given us the gift of their love. Happy Mother's Day to all of the mothers, grandmothers, and maternal figures who inspire us with their endless love and wisdom. Happy Mother's Day to all of you from our team at Fiji in Focus. The BC Cancer Foundation raises funds for BC Cancer to support world-leading scientists and clinics across the province as they advance global innovation and accelerate access for all British Columbians close to home. To support this great cause, CEWFF is hosting their 3rd annual Mother's Day family event on May the 11th at the Taj Park Convention Centre in Surrey, located at 8580 132nd Street in Surrey. Tickets are $40. Show your support and purchase your tickets now as tickets are selling fast. Great prizes and all proceeds will go towards helping people who are going through cancer and for many others as we never know when we may need these expensive medical services. Call 604-831-0240 or 604-825-8261 for more information. अब आपको ले चलते हैं अपना स्पॉन्सर की ओर।
क्या आप अपना ड्रीम होम खरीदना चाहते हो या अपने घर से पैसे निकालकर अपने किचन या अपने घर को रेनोवेट करना चाहते हो लेकिन बैंक्स ने आपको मना कर दिया है? आप मुझे कॉल कर सकते हैं यानी विक प्रसाद को। मैं एक इंडिपेंडेंट मॉर्गेज ब्रोकर हूं जो कई बैंक्स और क्रेडिट यूनियंस और प्राइवेट लेंडर्स के साथ काम करता हूं।
For more information, please call Vic Prasad at 604-306-6647. Vic Prasad is one of the top brokers of Invest Craft Mortgages and is also a member of the Canadian Mortgage Brokers Association of BC.
For any kind of visa-related services, contact Milky Way Immigration, a galaxy of opportunities located at Unit 209-9547 152 Street, Surrey, BC. They have licensed immigration consultants, placement officers, and LMIA experts to meet your immigration and recruitment needs. Book one-time free consultation either on Facebook or by calling 604-396-0005.
United Pallets and Crates is located at 11585 134th Street in Surrey, BC. Give Sam Dooler a call
At 604-760-2028.
or call the office number at 604-634-2001. You can also visit the website which is www.unitedpalletsandcrates.com or send us email at info@palletsandcrates.com.
अब हमारे साथ आई है विक प्रसाद जी जो पूरे हफ्ते के फीजी के न्यूज़ को लेके आई है। तो चलते हैं, सुनते हैं। विक प्रसाद जी के आपके स्वागत है।
नमस्कार, फिजी इन फोकस में आपका स्वागत है। ये कार्यक्रम वैनकूवर कनाडा से प्रसारित हो रहा है। फिजी न्यूज़ के साथ मैं हूं विक प्रसाद। पूर्व प्रधानमंत्री वोरेंगे बैनिमरामा और सस्पेंडेड पुलिस कमिश्नर सितिवेनी गिलिहो को इस सप्ताह गुरुवार को सज़ा सुनाई जाएगी। यह बात स्टेट काउंसिल और बचाव पक्ष के वकील द्वारा एक्टिंग चीफ जस्टिस सेलेसी तेमो के समक्ष अपील की सुनवाई के दौरान अपनी दलीलों को पेश करने के बाद हुई है। स्टेट काउंसिल ने पूर्व प्रधानमंत्री वोरेंगे बैनिमरामा और सस्पेंडेड पुलिस कमिश्नर सितिवेनी गिलिहो के लिए उच्च सजा की मांग की है। लैसानी तंबोकोरो का कहना है कि ऑफिशियल पोस्ट पर रहने वाले 2 व्यक्ति कंडीशनल डिस्चार्ज के हकदार नहीं हो सकते, जैसा कि सूबा मजिस्ट्रेट पेनी सेनी पोमाओ द्वारा सजा में बताया गया था। वो कहती है कि न्यायपालिका में जनता का भरोसा बनाए रखने के लिए इस मामले में हिरासत की सज़ा की ज़रूरत है। वो कहती है कि सज़ा में यह प्रतिरोध होना चाहिए कि सत्ता का दुरुपयोग करने वाले किसी भी सरकारी अपराधी को दंडित किया जाएगा। राज्य के वकील का कहना है कि मामला टेक्निकल ब्रीच को नहीं है और क्योंकि दोनों एक जैसे कार्य में लगे थे और जो गैर कानूनी था। उनका कहना है कि बैनिमरामा को और गिलिहो के पश्चाताप और पछतावे की कमी दिखी है। उन्होंने इस बात पर भी प्रकाश डाला है कि यह एक गंभीर कारक है तथा पूर्व प्रधानमंत्री कथित तौर पर न्याय के उद्देश्य को विकृत करने के लिए लगे हुए थे जब सस्पेंडेड पुलिस कमिश्नर सितिवेनी गिलिहो कथित तौर पर बैनिमरामा से प्रभावित हो गए थे। हालांकि बचाव पक्ष के वकील देवनेश शर्मा ने कहा है कि मजिस्ट्रेट सैनी पोमाओ ने अपने वकीलों को सजा सुनाते समय अपनी शक्ति का प्रयोग किया है। शर्मा का कहना है कि हर मामले में उसकी योग्यता के आधार पर निपटना जाना चाहिए। इनिशियल अपील के बाद मजिस्ट्रेट सैनी पोमाओ ने निष्कर्ष निकाला था कि यह सुझाव देने के लिए अपर्याप्त सबूत थे कि दोनों ने व्यक्तिगत लाभ के लिए काम किया है। मजिस्ट्रेट पोमाओ ने बैनिमरामा को कंडीशनल डिस्चार्ज दे दी थी, जबकि गिलिहो पर $1500 की जुर्माना लगाया गया था और स्टेट ने फिर अपील दायर की थी। फॉर्मर सुपरवाइजर ऑफ इलेक्शंस मोहम्मद सनीम ने भ्रष्टाचार के आरोप में खुद को निर्दोष बताया है। वह 1 मई को सुबह मजिस्ट्रेट कोर्ट में पेश किए गए थे। यह आरोप लगाया गया है कि 1 जून 2022 से 31 जुलाई 2022 के बीच में सनीम ने एक पब्लिक ऑफिशियल के रूप में गैरकानूनी तरीके से एक सीनियर सरकारी अधिकारी से अपने पिछले वेतन पर कटौती का योग के राहत पे $50,000 से अधिक टैक्स डिडक्टेबल रिलीफ का लाभ प्राप्त किया था। सनीम 10 जून को फिर अदालत में पेश होंगे। प्रधानमंत्री सितिवेनी रंबुका के अनुसार कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल ऑफिस कमीशन की बैठक के दौरान लिए गए अधिकांश निर्णय सिफारिशें होंगी। इस रिकमेंडेशंस को अंतिम समर्थन के लिए प्रेसिडेंट रातू विलियम कोतनीवेरे को भेजा जाएगा। रिकमेंडेशंस में नए फिजियन करेक्शन सर्विस कमिश्नर सुपरवाइजर ऑफ इलेक्शंस और ऑडिटर जनरल की नियुक्ति शामिल है। यह इस वर्ष की आयोजित दूसरी कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल ऑफिस कमीशन की बैठक होगी। फिजी वर्तमान में स्किल्ड और अनस्किल्ड दोनों प्रकार के वर्कर्स के बड़े पैमाने पर देश छोड़ के जाने से जूझ रहा है। 2023 में 126,000 इंडिविजुअल्स काम करने के लिए न्यूजीलैंड गए। 10,630 फिजियंस काम के सिलसिले में देश से बाहर थे। इसी तरह ऑस्ट्रेलिया को 2022-2023 में फिजी से 7,680 वर्कर्स काम के सिलसिले में देश से बाहर गए हुए थे। आप देख रहे फिजी इन फोकस, विक प्रसाद के संग अब कुछ स्थानीय समाचार। आरसीएमपी का कहना है कि मिशन के एक रूरल प्रॉपर्टी पर शुक्रवार रात एक व्यक्ति की कथित मौत के बाद इंटीग्रेटेड होमोसाइड टीम को बुलाया गया। माउंटेस का कहना है कि उन्हें बीसी एम्बुलेंस सर्विस ने शुक्रवार रात लगभग 11 बजे ड्यूनी ट्रंक रोड पर एक घर में बुलाया। पहुंचने पर पाया गया कि 25 वर्षीय व्यक्ति बेहोश पड़ा था और उन्हें पुनर्जीवित करने की कोशिश की गई, लेकिन नहीं हुआ। पुलिस ने एक संदिग्ध को गिरफ्तार कर लिया है जो हिरासत में है। आहिट जांचकर्ता घटनास्थल पर सबूत इकट्ठा करने के लिए मिशन आरसीएमपी के साथ काम कर रहे हैं। किसी भी व्यक्ति के पास कोई भी जानकारी हो तो वो आहिट को सूचना दे। 1877-551-4448 पर कॉल करने के लिए कहा जा रहा है। पुलिस शुक्रवार सुबह बर्नबी में एक बस में लगी आग की जांच कर रही है। यह सुबह 9 बजे के बाद हर्स्ट स्ट्रीट और सुसेक्स एवेन्यू के एरिया में हुआ था। कॉर्पोरल लारा ईस्ट का कहना है कि बस में किसी को चोट नहीं आई है और उन्हें कहा कि बस में यात्री सवार थे और उसे बस स्टॉप पर रोका गया और जब बस रुकी तो उसके ड्राइवर ने आग की लपटें देखी। ड्राइवर ने जल्दी से बस के सभी सवारियों को बाहर निकाला और कोई भी घायल नहीं हुआ है। आग लगने के कारणों की जाँच जारी है। आप देख रहे इन फोकस, विक प्रसाद के संग अब कुछ खेलकूद के जगत से जानकारी। सिंगापुर सेवंस इस सप्तांत जारी रहा। पूल प्ले के अंतर्गत यूएसए ने फिजी को 33 पॉइंट्स टू 14 से पराजित किया। ग्रेट ब्रिटेन ने फिजी को 19 पॉइंट्स टू 14 से पराजित किया। फिजी ने आयरलैंड को 26 पॉइंट्स टू 19 से पराजित किया, लेकिन फिजी क्वार्टर फाइनल में अपना जगह नहीं बना पाए। 9th प्लेस फाइनल में फिजी ने स्पेन को 21-12 से पराजित किया। मेंस कप फाइनल को न्यूजीलैंड ने 17 पॉइंट्स टू 14 से आयरलैंड को हराते हुए जीत लिया है। वुमेन्स की ओर देखते हैं तो फिजी विमेंस ने ग्रेट ब्रिटेन को 24-10 से पराजित किया। फिजी ने ब्राज़ील को 29-7 से पराजित किया और ऑस्ट्रेलिया ने फिजी को 60 पॉइंट्स टू 0 से पराजित किया। कप क्वार्टर फाइनल में फिजी ने जापान को 12-10 से पराजित करते हुए सेमीफाइनल में जगह बनाया, जहां पर न्यूजीलैंड से उनकी हार 33 पॉइंट्स टू 22 से हो गई। विमेंस फाइनल को न्यूजीलैंड ने ऑस्ट्रेलिया को 31-21 से पराजित करते हुए जीत लिया है। वैंकूवर कैनक्स राउंड 1 में नैशविल प्रेडेटर्स को हराकर आगे बढ़ गए हैं। 4-2 से सीरीज को वैंकूवर कैनक्स ने जीत लिया है। अगला खेल एडमिंटन ऑयलर्स के साथ में होगा। पहला मैच मंगलवार को वैंकूवर में होने जा रहा है। एडमिंटन ऑयलर्स और एलए किंग्स के जो सीरीज थे उसमें एडमिंटन ऑयलर्स ने एलए किंग्स को 4-1 से पराजित किया। अन्य सीरीज में बोस्टन ब्रूअर्स ने टोरंटो को 4-3 से पराजित करते हुए आगे बढ़ गए हैं। राउंड 2 में कैरोलिना हरिकेन्स ने न्यूयॉर्क आइलैंडर्स को 4-1 से पराजित किया है और कोलोराडो एवलांच ने विनिपेग जेट्स को 4-1 से पराजित किया है। अगर आप भी कोई इन्फॉर्मेशन शेयर करना चाहते हैं तो आप हमको या स्टूडियो में कॉल कर सकते हैं। विक प्रसाद को यहीं पर दीजिए इजाजत। धन्यवाद।
आपके बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद विक प्रसाद जी। अगर आपके पास भी कोई समाचार है, न्यूज़ है, आप शेयर करने चाहते हैं तो आप विक के कॉल कर सकते हैं at 604-306-6647 या आप हमें कॉल कर सकते हैं at 604-537-5123। We have in our studio today Honorable Deputy Prime Minister of Fiji, Manoa Kamikamika, who is here with the Fijian Trade Delegation to connect with our Fijian community. We welcome him and his team. Welcome, sir.
It is my extreme pleasure and honor to be bringing to you the Deputy Prime Minister, Honorable Manoa Kamikamika, into our studios. And this is the first time even I am nervous sitting next to him and be able to interview this gentleman that I have never done it before, and I haven't done any interview at this caliber before. So please, if I mix up or say something, excuse me for that. So first of all, Bula. And first of all, before we're going to talk into nitty-gritty of this politics about Fiji and the leadership about yours in Fiji, I would like to congratulate you and your government.
Thank you.
For the great work that we hear in this country about what's happening in Fiji.
Thank you.
So being in the office for not quite 2 years, almost less than 2 years, so what have been your challenges?
Yeah, thank you. Firstly, Camilla, thank you for this opportunity to come and have a chat and talanoa about things in Fiji. As you know, we are here to support our investment agency, which is Investment Fiji, which really drives the need to come and invest in our country. And so, we're just here in a support role to try and firstly tell everybody, particularly our diaspora, that Fiji is open for business, and we're willing to come and have discussions on how we can make that happen. So we are deeply honored and pleasure to be here in the studio today to have a discussion around whatever you want to discuss today. But in terms of challenges, I think for me it's been if we just step back a bit before becoming government, one of the major motivations, certainly for myself, to get involved in politics. I've never been in politics all my life. My father used to be a politician, but I was just seeing that we were moving away from what Fiji was, both in terms of very obvious things like the ability to talk freely, and the ability to sort of mix freely without being fearful of what's being said. And then obviously, from that, other things that were happening, breakdown in infrastructure, hospitals are bad, education was getting questionable, all these other issues. So I think getting into government, if anything, just reconfirmed what we felt were issues when we were outside.
When you were opposition.
Correct, when we were trying to get into government. And so, the challenges are obviously that The main challenge for the government is, it's been well documented that, through previous governments we probably lent more than we should have. So the debt to GDP is quite high.
Yes.
What that means is then government can't do what it'd like to do to progress the economy. So, there's that challenge. And so the challenges for us now is to find ways of accelerating growth in the economy. That's certainly my ministry is involved in that aspect, to try and boost the economic growth and try and ensure that we take control of the debt exposure. So that was probably one of the biggest challenges. The other challenges are, as all of Fiji knows, hospital infrastructure is not good. Water infrastructure is starting to get better. The previous government did invest in a new reservoir, so that will help particularly the residents in the Suva area. But then there's the roads always are a challenge, and other issues. We have now a significant drug issue in Fiji. So these are some of the issues that that are now starting to in the new environment where Fiji is now a genuinely democratic country, that we can talk openly about these things. So and that I think in a way, because of that new renewed commitment to democracy, what you're now seeing is I'm a glass half full kind of guy. So what you're now seeing is, yes, we have those challenges that I've mentioned, but at the same time there's a renewed desire to try and work together and rebuild the country. And that's certainly what I'm seeing. We are here on an investment mission. Right now the investment numbers are looking very good. What's important now is just to execute some of those investment opportunities. So, whilst there's been obstacles, some of them are just really confirmation of what we were seeing on the outside. The thing that's driving a lot of us is the fact that there are really things that we can do to improve the situation at home. And that's really one of the main reasons that we're in Canada as well.
First of all, I think you answered my second question. I was going to ask you about your mission and vision,
Sure.
so I think you have done that. But I'd like to congratulate you. This is the first time that I have been, and I've been here for a few years now,
Thank you.
that a huge entourage as the size of the people that you brought them in here to come and talk, and because we are also the diaspora in here. Our heart, mind, your blood is running from Fiji. We like to do what we want to, what we can do for people of Fiji. So leading on to that, my next question will be, because this is my own observation, when I was in Fiji, I saw that quite a few people that got education in Fiji, whether they don't have the job opportunities or they are leaving Fiji to go to Australia and New Zealand, the education and everything they do. What can your government do to make sure that, and these are younger people too, because they will have 40, 50 years of career working and giving it back to the country, that if you are losing this kind of people to a different country, it's a gain to the next country but loss to our country. What can you do or create so that they are more attracted to stay in Fiji?
The migrations, sort of an unavoidable fact of the global economy. So, in a way, the New Zealanders are running away to Australia. The Australians are running away to the UK. Where do they feel the backfill from? It comes from the Pacific. And that's becoming, through COVID, I think, it's become more and more of a obvious playground for New Zealand and Australia to look at. And the disparity in the wages is obviously very big. There is no way we can catch up to to the salaries and the wages in Australia. Like I think, if I'm not wrong, the wages, basic wage in Australia is $40 an hour or something.
Wow.
Fiji is only about $4 an hour right now.
I know, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
So there is.
so there, so those are the challenges. But to your question about what can we do, one is that's one of the things that we're trying to do as a government. Look at the employment landscape and understand where are the jobs of the future. The jobs of the future are coming from ICT, technology. So the education system and everything else needs to start positioning ourselves for those jobs of the future. Right now in Fiji we have a growing BPO sector, business process outsourcing. That's all the call centers, the guys that do support functions for IT. That's growing quite rapidly now in Fiji. The next stage, as I see it, is to start working hard on more ICT jobs. So like, for example, cybersecurity analysts, more computer IT type jobs. Now kids in Fiji are very good at that kind of role. Some of them are programmers, end up being programmers for global brands. So there needs to be a bit of a shift in the economy. And why I say that is a very good explanation for that is the cybersecurity, and like right now, I've been told by some of the international vendors, so cybersecurity analysts, the demand at the moment is about 4.5 million analyst roles that need to be filled, global. So, and the starting salary for a cybersecurity analyst is around about 40 to 50 US dollars, thousand. So just imagine if Fiji could start working in that space. We have a BPO sector already, which works on behalf of international companies offshore. As you're probably aware, Google is building a second cable into Fiji.
That's good.
So that cable will run from the US to Hawaii, to Fiji, then on to Australia. And they're building two other cables. One will run from Fiji to French Polynesia, out to South America potentially. And another one that will run from Fiji, Guam, to the... So that opens up the whole networking country to ICT type roles. So that's one big thing for me. We need to reposition the jobs for the future so that we have jobs for our young people. There's a lot of right now. There's a lot of opportunity in construction in Fiji. We are now starting to see a lot more construction type jobs. These are skilled jobs. So, and unfortunately, the previous government didn't do a good job to actually have enough training at that level. There's a bit too much focus, in my opinion, on academia, university degrees. So that's now changing, and there's a lot more involvement. So like, over the next few years, there'll be a lot of our young people coming up with more skilled jobs in plumbing, carpentry, joinery, all these other skills that are needed to reconstruct Fiji. We've got a lot of hotels that are going to be built, a lot of roads that have to be built, a lot of housing that has to be built. The shortage of housing in Fiji is about 7,000 homes. So, these are the opportunities that are there. The other thing that the government's doing is looking at the minimum wage. It's $4 an hour Fiji. It may well go up, depending on the review. But again, whilst it doesn't address, like going to $40 an hour, there's no way we're going to go to $40 an hour. But at least the people that are there will say, okay, the wages are being adjusted. Our nurses, for example, they hadn't had a salary adjustment for some time. We've brought in some new conditions and new wage levels for them. So these are the types of things that the government is doing. The other thing too that I think, sometimes because we're just looking at the big number that's leaving, not all of them are going to stay in New Zealand and Australia. A lot of them will come back. So what government needs to do is think about how do we prepare them going out so that when they come back, they build their houses, they come
They
into
bring
small...
the money to the
they
country.
bring the money back to the country, they do small business, these kind of things. So that's really, like, it's a multifaceted approach. There's no silver bullet to these kind of issues, because it's really just a fleck of the global, the world's getting in smaller and smaller. Credit to what the capacity in Fiji, a lot of, say, for example, our accountants in Fiji, after about 3-4 years, they get direct calls from Australia saying, come to Australia, and we'll give you
this much.
triple your salary with housing.
Thank you, sir. हमारे पास कुछ public service announcements. Please have your pen and paper ready. Attention, aspiring police officers. Surrey RCMP is hosting an open house career and info session at the Surrey RCMP main detachment on May the 11th. Discover more about recruitment into policing and learn about exciting career opportunities. To attend, call their non-emergency number at 604-599-0502. Don't miss this chance to explore a career in law enforcement with the Surrey RCMP. If you are celebrating your loved one's birthday, you can send all the information with their photos to fijiinfocus21@gmail.com. Thank you. अब समय हो गया हमारे जाने के और आपके और हमारी मुलाकात फिर होगी next week. Keep watching Fiji in Focus Tuesdays at 10 p.m. and Thursdays at 2:30 p.m. and on Sundays at 4 p.m. and Alberta में 5 p.m. Sponsorship के लिए कॉल कीजिए कमीला को at 604-537-5123. आप हमें भी कॉल कर सकते हैं, हमारे नंबर क्रेडिट्स में दिया गया है. Before I leave, I will leave you with these thoughts. When you destroy someone's life with lies, it will come back to you with interest. Author unknown. अपना और अपने फैमिली के ख्याल रखना. मैं हूँ आपके होस्ट जोशी रेड्डी. फिर मिलेंगे, तब तक के लिए विनाका और नमस्ते.
क्या आप अपना ड्रीम होम खरीदना चाहते हो या अपने घर से पैसे निकालकर अपने किचन या अपने घर को रेनोवेट करना चाहते हो, लेकिन बैंक्स ने आपको मना कर दिया है? आप मुझे कॉल कर सकते हैं, यानी विक प्रसाद को. मैं एक इंडिपेंडेंट मॉर्गेज ब्रोकर हूं जो कई बैंक्स और क्रेडिट यूनियंस और प्राइवेट लेंडर्स के साथ काम करता हूं.
For more information, please call Vic Prasad at 604-306-6647. Vic Prasad is one of the top brokers of Invest Craft Mortgages and is also a member of the Canadian Mortgage Brokers Association of BC.
For any kind of visa-related services, contact Milky Way Immigration, a galaxy of opportunities located at Unit 209-9547 152 Street, Surrey, BC. They have licensed immigration consultants, placement officers, and LMIA experts to meet your immigration and recruitment needs. Book one-time free consultation either on Facebook or by calling 604-396-0005.
United Pallets and Crates is located at 11585 134 Street in Surrey, BC. Give Sam Dooler a call
At 604-760-2028.
or call the office number at 604-634-2001. You can also visit the website, which is www.unitedpalletsandcrates.com, or send us email at info@palletsandcrates.com.